Okay, so this video is, as you can see, about exam technique. So, in your exams, you need to ensure that you are using the right technique for every single one of the questions. Now, the questions are define, describe, explain, and evaluate. So, first of all, the first question to be asked is a define question. It is a 2-mark question, okay? It's worth 2 marks. Now, what is vital is that you need to say what it means. You need to give the definition, the meaning of the word. Then, once you've done that, okay, to get the 2nd mark, you need to give an example or explain the word in more detail. So, it could be omnipotent. The word omnipotent means all-powerful. For example, Catholics believe that God is all-powerful as he created the world ex nihilo. Now, that's the easy 2-marker done, all right? You must make sure that you've got the 2 different points to get the 2 marks. You cannot just do the one, otherwise you're throwing away 1 mark. Now, the next question is a describe question. Now, a describe question, as you know, all right, it's a 5-mark question, and in the Year 11 exam paper, it simply requires you to give a summary of beliefs, okay? Describe Catholic views on blah, 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 blah. Describe how Catholics celebrate blah, 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 okay? Now, as a result of this, it's going to require you to do 5 explained points, okay? Now, the way in which we've approached this is 5 PEs, point and explanation. So, got an example here for you, all right? If you got asked to, it was called describe Catholic views on caring for the world. Firstly, Catholics believe that we should care for the world because God made us rulers of the world by giving us dominion over it. Now that's a really good, strong point, and it could potentially give the mark all by itself. But let's secure it. This is because, in Genesis, it states that God wants human beings to rule over his creation. Okay? Now, that's how you secure that 2nd mark. Now, it is better to structure it that way and do 4 than to do 5 underdeveloped points. Now, top tip. If you can remember a teaching that fits with the answer but are struggling to remember the point, okay, so if you got asked something like describe Jesus' teachings on love, and you were like, right, love thy neighbour, love thy God, the golden rule, all those sort of things, but you couldn't quite remember exactly the meaning of them, then say, firstly, a lot of Catholic views on this topic are based upon the teaching and insert a teaching. If you were to do that, say 2 or 3 times, then you're going to be picking up 2 marks, okay? Now, some of you are just leaving it blank despite then in the next answer going on and actually using the exact same teaching in an answer. So you obviously know information about it. Get what you know down. Now, onto the biggies now, okay? So the explanation questions, then the evaluation. So explanation questions. Typically, they will be asked, explain Catholic views on blah, 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 whatever the topic is. So, when you do this, okay, it's 3 or 4 petty paragraphs. Now, for A-star quality answers, it's 4, okay? It's 4. You want to secure all 8 marks, then the 4 is the ideal way to do it. However, 3 would get you an A as long as they are strong answers, okay? So, what's the difference? Now, the reason why we say what the difference is to do with timing, if you were struggling in your exam with timing, then focus on doing the 3. It is better to pick up 7 out of 8, okay, and maybe miss out on 1 mark, as opposed to missing out whole questions later on in the exam paper. Another reason why is for revision purposes. Now, if you know 3 different points, okay, 3 paragraphs about the topic, then you can use 3 paragraphs as the maximum you'll need to know for one side of the argument for the evaluation question. So that's why it's to support you with your revision. Now, when it comes to structure, you need to be using petty paragraphs, okay? We spent so much time on this, but lots of you still aren't using it effectively. So let's break it down. The P stands for point. Basically, your bog standard answer, okay? Explain your favourite food. Well, personally, my favourite food is pizza, okay? It's my bog standard answer. I then need to explain that answer. So here, you explain your answer, stating this is because. You start that sentence off every time. This is because drawing upon religious teachings where possible. So, if you were getting asked, if using my example about food, favourite food, then there's obviously nothing to do with religious teaching. I may say something like this. This is because you can have a variety of different toppings on a pizza, so therefore it's always interesting and it's always different. If it was a question about, I don't know, let's say explain Catholic views on showing love, your first point might be that we should show love to all people. This is because Jesus taught us that we should show love to everyone when he said, love thy neighbour and love your enemies. I've drawn upon religious teaching there. The T in the I stands for therefore impact. Therefore is just a word, okay? It's just to help you to write this, like a sentence starter if you want. Therefore, here you give examples of what impact the belief has on what that person thinks and what they do. So me with my pizza, all right? So therefore, I look forward to having pizza, and I would have it on special occasions such as my birthday, okay? That's the impact that it has. I mean, the fact that it's my favourite food, I have it on special occasions. If we were using the example about teachings on love, we should show love to all people because of the teachings I used about love your enemy and love your neighbour. The impact is, right, well, they think that all people should be shown with love and respect, okay, and all people are our neighbour. And what do? Right, they show love to people in the local community by volunteering, and they show love to those across the world by, I don't know, supporting CAFOD, something like that. Now, that is how we structure petty paragraphs. We need to ensure we are using them consistently. Now, finally, the evaluation questions. Now, with this one, we need, 5 petty paragraphs. We need your first one that agrees with the statement. Second one disagrees with the statement. Third one agrees with the statement. Fourth one disagrees with the statement. And finally, a petty paragraph of your personal opinion that is new to the answer. So, in a nutshell, what we're saying here, right, is that you need 4 against personal opinion. Each one of these paragraphs must be a petty paragraph. It's important that it is. When it comes to your personal opinion, it needs to be something new. You can't just simply say something like, I think this because, and use one of your other paragraphs, because that's not giving any extra information and you won't get marks twice. Common things to avoid when it comes to your evaluation, okay? The pitfalls. There's no mention of Jews or humanists in year 11, none at all, okay? Don't mention them in the answer. I don't want to see it anyway, okay? That's year 10. Now, the last one is what's called that. We need to make sure that in our argument that we are making sure that it is an argument. All right, so you want to start off your first paragraph with, firstly, some people would agree with the statement because, but your second paragraph, you're changing the argument. So you might want to say, however, yet, just simple ones, but it's showing a clear change of the argument. All right, so it'd say, firstly, some people think this, however, others think this. In spite of this, these people still believe that, yet these people think this, in my personal opinion. What you've got there is you've got a clear discussion of the topic, a clear evaluation of the topic because you've had that argument.